today's episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about security. And no, I'm not talking about your gate man or whoever who is manning your estate. I mean countrywide security. Guys, I don't quite think we understand the magnitude, the scale of the problem of security we have in our hands and how much that should impact how we vote in the coming election. So we are going to be talking about that today, and also how the security problem has really impacted the young people, the Gen Alphas and the Gen Zs of this era. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Amara and this is Next Door Conversations, my podcast where I talk about trending news, viral content, what's happening on social media and in the world at large. If you like what you're listening to, make sure that you're following the podcast, ring the notification bell so every time I drop an episode you get a notification, and also don't forget to share this episode with a friend, because I'm sure there's someone in your circle of friends that's interested in topics as these. And don't forget to give this podcast a 5-star rating. This is a 5-star podcast, so please give me 5 stars. And without too much yapping, let's get straight into it, guys. So I believe I speak for everyone of this generation, maybe the vast majority of people, maybe millennials and even Gen Xers, that we are collectively traumatized by the things we are seeing online when it comes to the state of security in this country, guys. Every day we are seeing video after video of people being kidnapped, being killed, being pied by the side of the road, people being nabbed, people being slaughtered, like so much gore online, and it's being normalized. We're seeing bandits doing TikTok lives, sharing the ransom money. We're seeing them flaunting the ransom money like rappers in a music video, guys. Things are very bad, and I would go as far as to say that things have never been this bad. Like this is a new low we are reaching. And I'm sure you all know about the Oyo kidnapping, the 40 plus school children that were kidnapped in Oyo. I've not heard anything about that one. No, nothing about any operation, anything. We don't know if, like, they're not even doing anything about, like, it's I feel like I'm living in Gotham. I feel like I'm living in an inverse of the normal. I feel like I am living in a place where there is no right and there's no wrong, and we're just living. I feel like I'm in a jungle. And what does that make us? It makes us animals. And that's probably why we're all behaving in an animalistic behavior in this country. Things have gone, I don't even think south. I don't even think there's a direction. Okay, there is no direction for where things have gone right now when it comes to security in this country. It is so bad. The security problem in Nigeria is so bad, guys, that the church, my church, hosted a symposium. I don't know if you call it a symposium or a seminar, but some kind of situation where the youth were gathered and it was like a hangout where we discussed the state of security, like the terrorism problem we have in Nigeria, and what we should be doing as believers, how we should be thinking, how we should be responding to things. The church never involves itself, almost never. The church tries as much as possible. It makes a conscious effort not to involve itself in these types of things. Like, there could be a serious humanitarian crisis happening in one corner of Nigeria right now, and I promise you the majority of pastors, most of the pastors down south will not care about it. In fact, there's someone that Sunday will probably be something about submission or some random shit. They will not sit on the pulpit and say verbatim that there's a problem, that there's a security problem, and name the people that are a part of the problem. It's definitely, whatever the church was for the Black American community during the civil rights movement, that is not what the church is right now for Nigerians. The church is literally not the cornerstone of anybody. The church is just, it has become a business. I don't even know look, that's another conversation, and I don't even want to use this episode to talk about. That's not what we're about to talk about here. What we're talking about here is security. There's a huge security problem, and I have gone as far as to do much needed research on this topic. So you guys will be hearing some quotes, some statistics from me right now regarding this issue. So guys, I checked, and I'm quoting from The Guardian. There was an article by The Guardian that was quoting the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, and it says that there have been 2.2 million kidnappings in Nigeria in the last 1 year, and 2.2 trillion naira has been paid in ransoms, guys. Isn't that insane? 2.2 million kidnappings. Bro, 2.2 million, that's like a state. That is like an entire state of Nigerians. No wonder, guys, no wonder there's a ransom economy. No wonder so many people are going to the dark side, because they're saying that, guy, this thing is a profitable venture. 2.2 trillion naira is up for grabs. Why won't people go there and start kidnapping people and demanding exorbitant amounts of money from people that cannot even afford their daily bread? Like, why are you are kidnapping a child that is attending one public school like that? That's a child that you are seeing the sandals self. They used thread to sew the sandals together, and you're demanding 100 million naira on top of this child's head. Like, are you insane? That one aside, guys, Nigeria is currently ranked 142 over 143. Like we take 142nd place on the World Justice Project's Rule of Law Index, which is like a global security benchmark, guys. They say Nigeria doesn't carry last. Well, we carry second to the last. We clearly carry second to the last, guys. We rank 148th out of 163 on the Global Peace Index, guys. We are ranked 5th place on the Global Terrorism Index. I mean it when I say it has never been this bad, okay? Nigeria used to be relatively safe. It used to be safer than this. It used to be, the fact that we're hearing of terrorism in Oyo, like it has really trickled down south. It's most of Nigeria now that is caught up in this mess. Before, it used to be just up north, and I would say the vast majority of Nigerians felt like it was contained, like it was a little bit okay, like it was a problem that could be solved. But now it's widespread. Now it is spreading out across the entire country. We bring the conversation back to Gen Zs or Gen Alphas and how this is impacting a lot of us, guys. A lot of us, I would say this is the anxiety generation. This is the generation of Nigerians that is most anxious. We are most hypervigilant. We have normalized being in the state of fear. Every day you go out and you come back, you're just grateful to God that you're alive, that nobody died, that nobody tried to stab you knife or shoot you gun. Like, you are just happy that you get to live another day. And that is not normal. It's not normal feeling like every day you are going out, just going across the streets or visiting someone by the evening, like by sundown, you're already feeling like you're having palpitations. You're feeling like you're going out for war. That is not normal. People making savings. Yes, people are making savings for in case find themselves in the unfortunate situation of being kidnapped or needing to pay a ransom or needing to pay their way out of a very dangerous situation. That is happening. That is happening now. That is like slowly becoming normalized. I say technology is making us antisocial. The security problem is also making us really antisocial because nobody wants to go out past 6 p.m. You don't know who wants to find themselves in the unfortunate situation of being, caught in one of these bad actors' webs. Not even talked about the emotional numbness that our whole generation is experiencing. We are desensitized to this issue. It's not that we don't know that there's a problem, but we are so exposed to the stimuli of bad news that we no longer even feel like, okay, it has reached, let's all go out, let's try and do something. And even when we do something, like, all our efforts are just thwarted. So what is even the point? I feel like that is what every single young person is thinking right now. It brings us to the 2027 election, because if I ask you now, what is the top priority? Like, what is the number one thing that should be your priority in terms of voting in the 2027 election? Let me give you space to answer that question. If you answered economy, you need to be beaten. Like, someone needs to gather you. They need to gather you, tie you up, gather boys and beat you up. Because let me tell you, a flourishing economy is enjoyed by living beings, okay? It's living beings that enjoy the flourishing economy. You cannot be prioritizing economy in a country like ours, where there are literally terrorists roaming about. There are terrorists roaming the streets. There are terrorists amongst us, just waiting for the opportunity to nab you and make money off of your head. Security is first. Security should be the number one issue that every Nigerian should vote on in the coming election. We need to put someone in there that actually has human sympathy, as my late father would say. Human sympathy. Somebody that cares, someone that actually says there is a problem and can see the problem for what it is. I can see it as black and white. A terrorist is a terrorist. There's no such thing as repentant terrorists, okay? People who have terrorized, people who have done these things should see their day in court, should be inside jail. They should be inside jail. There should be consequences for the terrorizing that they have done. Because if there are no consequences, if we're not firm on these things, we don't have institutions that are able to care about justice, then people will continue doing what they do. They will continue, and they will do it without a care. We don't need a president or anyone that will be speaking the language of repentant terrorists. We don't need anyone that will just turn aside and look away while 40 children, innocent children, guys, these people have not even lived a long life that will say, oh, okay. Not that we should even be saying that for such people, please, because I know that's mentality that a lot of Nigerians have. But I'm just saying, like, they're innocent and you're just looking away. You're more focused on the next election cycle. You're more focused on winning than you are about, like Like, if you do win, God, so many things that I'm just itching in my throat to say. But like, if you do win, then what? Then what, guys? What are you winning for? Are you winning for us? You're not winning for us. You're winning for yourself. So anyone stupid enough to still be voting that nigga. Anyway, I'm getting out of hand. This is becoming chaotic. Let's bring it back, guys. We need a president that actually can see things black and white. We need leaders that can see things black and white. I would go as far as to say that we need to increase our defense spending. Yes, these are my solutions. I'm a solutions oriented individual. We need to increase our defense spending. 8 to 12% of the budget is not enough to curtail the security problem. We need to ensure that those people, those armed officers that are putting their lives on the line for the sake of us to exist and to live, they need to be properly fed. We need to ensure that there is enough incentive safe for people to say, okay, let me go and join the army, let me come and fight. We need to care. We just need to. I feel like we are just in a state of I don't care. I don't care if my army is shit, if my police is shit, if my police officers are being paid shit, if my soldiers are eating. Did you see that video of what they were giving the soldiers to eat in like 6 months, I'll be 1 month? Like, who is going to put their life or their body on the line for that? Okay, we need to ensure that these people are taken care of, that their children are taken care of, that their spouses are taken care of, that they're not fighting in vain, that their efforts are not going to be in vain. Okay, because how are you sending soldiers to literally get killed, and then the people that are doing the killing, you're saying they're repentant and you're releasing them back into the society? Increase defense spending. We need to increase intelligence spending in order to curtail this problem. But first, before we even get there, we need to ensure that security is our top priority. And I'm really keen on seeing how the different candidates that are coming up for the elections are going to respond to the problem of security in the country right now, because I feel it's a very serious one. And if I hear anyone saying I will negotiate, I will liaise, I will do anything, then my dear, you don't have any right to sit in Aso Rock. Because if you're going here, if you're coming there to do what has already been done, then we're better off dead. Albert Einstein said that stupidity is doing the same thing twice and expecting a different outcome. Okay, we need new ideas, we need new thinkers, and we need people with a strong, firm hand that can see things as they are. And that is sincerely how I feel about the state of security in Nigeria today. Please, I hope that you will be convinced after this episode that security should be the number one issue you should be looking at in the next election. But you let me know your thoughts as always on the pod, on this episode, on social media at Amara Next Door, #NextDoorPod, at NextDoorPod_ on Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we're back. I know I took a break from social media, but we're back on Instagram, TikTok, IG, anywhere. Instagram is IG. Oh my God. I've been so far away from social media that I've even forgotten that Instagram is IG. But anywhere, find me and let me know your thoughts. You can also join our WhatsApp channel, and I would love to know your thoughts on this topic as always. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.